There is travel trouble at Newark Airport right now. Throughout the weekend, hundreds of flights were delayed or cancelled, and those disruptions continue this morning. So what's really going on? For more on this, let's bring in CBS News senior transportation correspondent Kris van Cleave, who joins us from Seattle. Kris, what's causing these delays and how is it impacting travelers all across the country?
Well, Errol, this is potentially the 8th straight day of significant disruption at Newark Airport. It is the nation's 12th busiest airport. Yesterday, how is it affecting people across the country? About half of the inbound flights to Newark were late or canceled. So it is impacting flyers, certainly a major pain point if you're trying to get in and out of New York City. It's happening because of an FAA staffing shortage at a critical control center outside of Newark. This started with a series of system outages that on Monday resulted briefly in air traffic controllers not being able to see airplanes on their control screens. Several controllers then basically said the experience has been traumatizing, and they have a carve out in their work agreement that they can take time away if they feel traumatized and not able to do their jobs. There's now about a half dozen or so controllers at that one facility that are off the job, and that has forced the FAA to essentially slow Newark down because they don't have full staffing to handle the normal volume. That is creating sort of an unpredictable situation for airlines, and that's why you're seeing delays and cancellations. United said Friday they were going to cancel at least 35 round trips a day to try to reduce some of these massive delays. 2 hours is not uncommon right now, as much as nearly 5 hours for some flights, and of course, hundreds of cancellations. So it is a mess, and it's a mess that may not have an immediate end here, as these are highly trained, specially certified controllers. You can't just slot in somebody else necessarily.
What a massive problem for so many people who are trying to get about and do important things in their lives as well. Also, Kris, in Washington, D.C., meanwhile, several aircraft were forced to go around DCA due to helicopters in the airspace. What do we know about that and the chopper restrictions in place around DCA in the wake of that horrific crash earlier this year?
Yeah, so there were two instances and sort of very different scenarios. On Thursday, an Army Black Hawk helicopter was flying to the Pentagon, and it appears it got too close to the lane of traffic, if you will, that the airplanes use. That prompted air traffic controllers to send two airliners around, canceled their landing approach, told them to go around. The FAA has now told lawmakers it appears this helicopter took the, quote, scenic route to the Pentagon. That has enraged lawmakers and certainly the DOT secretary as well. Then on Sunday, we had a situation where a police helicopter was responding to a call, operating in that same lane where airplanes would normally land. And under these new rules since the January crash, if a police helicopter is there, airplanes will not be there. So here, air traffic controllers acted to cancel the landing authorization for these three planes, told them to basically circle around and come back, and by then the police helicopter was gone. That's an example of how this system is supposed to work. On Thursday, that was an example of how the system is not supposed to work. The FAA and NTSB are now investigating those apparent close calls between a Black Hawk helicopter and those two airliners.
All right, Kris van Cleave with all the latest on that. Kris, thanks very much.